All right, good afternoon everybody, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Mark Kuipers, and I will be acting as moderator or host for this webcast. It's a pleasure for me to introduce to you Mr. Alexander Aumer, Head of ITSM Reporting at Continental Corporation. And over the past years we have worked closely with Alexander and his team on their ITSM reporting journey. And I'm very happy with the fact that Alexander wants to share his experience with you. We have scheduled for an hour in which Alexander will give a roughly 30-minute presentation, followed by a demo of their SMI system, which will take roughly 15 minutes. And that leaves another 15 minutes for Q&A. So if you have any questions, please submit them in the appropriate question box, so we make sure that we will address them during this live webinar. During the presentation, make sure your line is muted to avoid any background noise. And having that said, it's time to start the actual presentation. So Alexander, please, it's up to you.
Okay, Mark, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to display and show our reporting service at Continental together with Westbury SMI today. And I think we can just skip right into today's agenda. So I'd like to introduce my company, our landscape, and myself in a short way, so that you know who you're dealing with and what is our landscape. I will tackle our motivation to see what was the initial starting point and where we are coming from in regard to what were our problems at Continental and what are the progress we wanted to make. Then I explain every detail of our reporting services at Continental, so not only the product side, but also what we wanted to show in regard to processes, to the people, and in the last instance also to our partner. I will introduce today's challenges I see and we see in Continental, and I will also give you a solution concept, how we want to approach the scenarios we see in Continental, and also show it to you how far we've come so far. And the epilogue will just close my whole presentation again. Okay. So about Continental, Continental ranks about among the 3 leading automotive suppliers worldwide. So manufacturing everything from electronic, instrumentation, chassis, and tires, and most of the cars worldwide will have parts from Continental in it, and we're leading edge in quality. We're parted in 2 divisions, which is the automotive side, so making these technical innovations, but also the rubber side, providing high-quality tires and high-quality rubber solutions like steering wheels and so on. We have about 170,000 employees worldwide and are located in 46 countries and are currently on a rise, so we're actually growing in size every year. I am the head of ITSM reporting at Continental, so I'm therefore the service owner for the whole reporting service. I'm the supplier manager in regard to Westbury, but I'm also ITIL expert in regard to the process development in Continental, and I'm arguably also the application owner for Westbury SMI. To give you a bit more details about our landscape, so I am located in the corporate infrastructure. This is the central service provider, IT service provider at Continental, providing the central services like messaging, mobile devices, LAN, and so on, but is also responsible for providing the ITSM processes, the tools, and the governance. So away from only a simple service provider, but also accountable for the governance within Continental. So dealing with this environment, we currently rolled out the HP Service Manager application, and there is the possibility for over 5,000 HPSM operators and also the user via employee service to register interactions, register changes, and give information about the current services to us. We have about 80,000 incidents per month, and we'll have located about 190 locations, and we're dealing with about 6,000 changes. So this gives you a good idea about the values and the numbers we're dealing with Continental. The HP Service Manager, as our leading service management tool, is connected to our reporting service. So as you can see, the data I am showing you today will be based on HP Service Manager data, and we're covering incident management, change management, and configuration management actually today. But we're also rolling out other processes as well. Okay, so leading from that, we have a really wide structure, and we have a lot of locations, and we already rolled out products to register interaction, incidents, changes, and so on to provide service management. We were struggling to find a reporting that was based to our needs. So we were motivated by the history. We had a lot of different, not comparable reporting solutions distributed all over Continental. So you could imagine that as soon as you were rolling out big processes to be done in Continental, you needed to also report on it. But without a central service, there was just a lot of solutions distributed everywhere, which also meant you had no comparability, and there was a lot of effort involved for every report creator. You had to know which field in the database compares to which field, or which calculation do I need for this and that. So you need to have a lot of manual effort and a lot of thinking about your reporting. Another problem we faced is we had no central governance and consolidation of reporting demands. So central governance, I'm speaking of examples like restrictions from the Workers' Council, so to not enable specific performance measurements down to a single operator, for example. But we have also no consolidation of reporting demands, which means everybody was just building own reports, but not seeing what were other companies or other departments within Continental building. And so in the end, we had no synergy effects, and we had zero consistency, because every department will calculate specific numbers, specific KPIs differently. And in the end, one manager will get 10 different reports, but every report will show different data. So this is where our reporting service comes into place. So we provided one central reporting service in Continental, which means one platform based on Raspberry SMI. So one central service for every division. So we had all processes and KPIs in one place. And now we have also the possibility to give flexibility back and provide an intuitive analysis, which means due to the central service, you don't need to know everything about every field. You can see what are the other colleagues doing, what is the governance from the central side, but also can I use this information for my specific purpose. So this is really the benefit of the central service and the provision within. We have currently around 300 viewers, which means in our case, those users are really just clicking it, using the intuitive analysis to get insights, but we have about 20 report managers, so they are really building, providing reports to the organization. So this is the central service capability within Continental, and now let's have a look on how we're organized within Continental. So to be able to consolidate demands and make sure that the governance rules are met regarding to our IT strategy, we organized our service like this. We have our divisional representatives in every division. So I started in my presentation said we have 2 divisions. That's right, but we have additional IT divisions. So we have representatives for everyone. And here you've got one lead report manager that is just the report broker in his division. He knows exactly what is available from the central side, what is not. And he can raise demands at the incident management process owner, for example. So as you can see, based on ITIL, the process owner for a respective service is accountable for providing KPI definition, metrics, and so on. With this structure, if you have any demands, you will first go to your process owner, and then you will see, okay, is there something available? If not, you can also build it in your division. But you ensured that everybody knows what you're building and can, if want, join in on it, or if the Workers' Council disagrees with the process owner's reports, can also say, no, this report is not allowed to be taken into the live system. I, as a service owner, I'm more in the backline, so which means I'm in the background providing technical information and consultancy about how to structure, how to build your report, how to use the system to your advantage, but I'm more on the technical side, which means if a process owner needs a change on the existing service, he will contact me. Under the divisional representatives, you have a lot of sub-report managers, but responsible for them is always the divisional representatives. And in the end, you have a lot of users, and they want to have the reports in the end. So the accountable is always the process owner. Looking at the processes, we implemented a Deming cycle because we saw, okay, we created a lot of reports manually, or a lot of central reports were provided, but we got feedback from our users that they don't see the measures they would expect, or they just can't steer the organization like they want to with the current reports. So this is one of various reporting processes we implemented, and this one is just a simple Deming cycle that also states again how important it is to say we have our implementation of a report, we have our implementation of our service, but we want to improve it continuously. Therefore, we collect and measure. So we collect feedback, simple feedback mechanisms where you can say, I'm not sure is this the right amount of data information, I'm not sure is this the right way, and you go to a process owner or to a divisional representative and talk to them. But we also have a look on our incidents, so to also be sure we don't only update the theoretical part, we also update the technical part if users experience any problems. So this could also be incidents, could also be requests, for example, like user needs more information and so on. So in the end, all this collected information we will use to analyze it, improve the reporting service, the report itself, and define the right measurements, and in the end see if we're reaching our goals regarding to the plan we had. In all these contexts, like we have, in the context we have from a people perspective, from a process perspective, we have our product, Vesper SMI, which is supporting us in our daily needs. So our reporting and dashboarding platform is based on SMI analytics. And our end users, like the report managers, will only see this particular interface. But the value add is really also behind this interface. So we have a report manager. He defines and creates reports, and he can use the dashboarding platform or the reporting platform we provide him. He already sees incident universes, change management universes, and so on. So universes based on different processes. So in this case, he has a value add. He doesn't need to know what is the name called, or he doesn't need to do every calculation by himself, or is responsible to say, I need to create dates, I need to see that my users can use it properly. There are already a set of dimensions, there is already a set of fields that he can use regarding to his needs, already in a human-readable way. With the capabilities of this platform, he's also able to provide these reports in the end to the organization. And if you have report users that are highly interested in doing additional drills, doing additional analytics, and digging into the details, so they need to do that, they will just web intelligence, so they will log into the system and see and view the reports the process owner provided them or the report manager provided them. And they can customize it to a certain degree to see what does this mean in respect to this and that. It is also possible, and we have a lot of it, to create automatic exports. So for example, we have on the automotive side of Continental about 160 locations that are automatically getting exports to see what is the quality of our current systems, what is the quality for our laptops, for our hardware, how many incidents are resolved by our local IT. They will be automatically exported and everyone can access it. So this is really for the end user a highly beneficial way. He doesn't need to bother with anything reporting related. Anyhow, he gets his report. We have under the interface the SMI data designer. So in this ETL layer, the whole magic is done. So via a nightly load, we only get the data we need. So the additional data that was modified the day before, and we load it into a reporting database, which has a huge upside, because you could imagine if we were creating a report for 160 locations, or for example, a product type which has a lot of incidents, and you build a query, for example, you would have a huge impact on the performance side on a database. So looking at the ITSM database, it would be really not beneficial to do it directly. So this is where the upside of the SMI data designer comes into place. We don't need that. We get the data via nightly load, and all things that our users are doing on the system won't affect the productive system at all. Also, there is the magic in regard to, so the value add in regard to making our HPSM fields human readable, adding calculations you always need. So like you always need the number of incidents, you always need a certain time frame, you always need month and year to create a graph, to create tables. So this is really where the value add is. But the benefit of this product is the report managers and our end users don't need to bother with it. So with all technical background, they can use a dashboarding system on the reporting system, which is just convenient for them and easy to use and easy to understand. This product is provided by our partner, Vesperi, and so Vesperi is in Continental since 2010, and I'm working since 1.5 years with Vesperi. I implemented one major release with it, so we had a lot of project-related work, but we have also work to keeping the lights on and to daily day operation. And I have to say the following details about Vesperi. So what I like is looking at the operationalization of our service. I get support from technical experts and developers, and this is something I'd really like, and I'm daily confronted with. If I have any problems, I can just catch up with Vesperi, and they will provide insights into all technical details. In regard to increasing the quality, we managed to have a managed service contract and consultancy, which means we don't only want to have the system staying alive and to say, okay, we have incidents number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, we want to resolve it. But we also saw that we can really benefit from the expert knowledge of Vesperi, the expert knowledge of the developers, in another way. So we created a managed service contract. So the managed service contract is a set portfolio of days we have in a normal year, and we can use it to get consultancy, to get additional modifications, or just to get out some things we want to have done in the product. So helping us here to increase the quality, to stay flexible, is a managed service contract. So not only keeping it alive, but increasing it. If I'm looking at a partner, I'm only interested in the first thing, so I need to trust my partner. If somebody makes a mistake or drops the keys, it's not the biggest problem for me, but I need to have a relationship where you get the feedback, where you get the right answers, also if it's not political. And here it is where Vesperi shines. So they're not only flexible, but they're also providing us a trustful partnership and a close relation. So we have partnership meetings where we tell each other, this is our problem currently, this is how we could improve it, and you will always see open ears. We have service level management meetings, so we meet quarterly and just discuss how are our key performance indicators developing. Are there any escalations we need to look at? And we always improve on this side, and we always get to know each other better and have at the end a service level agreement that we both always know what can we expect from each other. And in the end, I saw also that Vesperi is really aligned to the Continental reporting needs. So things we wanted to discuss, we wanted to have in our product, we let them know, and they were able to implement a great deal of really needed features, or of just nice to have features, but they're always able to provide this kind of service to us. So much in regard to the partnership. Let's just see what are today's challenges. So as you already learned, we implemented the service. It is available for everybody, but currently we have in Continental additional challenges. So the management demands that it is possible to steer the IT organization based on central KPIs and not KPIs that are developed in the departments, KPIs that are really defined by your IT strategy. The management isn't interested in Continental in every detail, so it won't take a report seriously where you provide every detail like incident IDs, like dates and so on in a report and provide them a 700 side report. They want only the right amount of information. So they want to see trends and analyze escalations, because in the end they need to look into that. So looking at our service, we saw we had to provide a solution concept, because if the management wants to steer and the organizations need to provide reporting, we stand again at the start of everybody is just providing reports they need. And we also needed additional functionalities because we need to be able to prove the data. Imagine you are in a big meeting and you provide a report, for example, for several departments, and you spot a rising trend of incidents, or you spot a rising trend priority 1 incidents. And somebody says, okay, it's a nice report, but I don't believe your values. And you need to be able to prove this data in the future. Also, looking at your report with just the right amount of information, you need to know your user groups and also schedule and build the right amount of information based on the level the user is. So looking at the trends and the challenges we saw at Continental, we created a concept which could be a solution, and we're currently piloting in the corporate infrastructure. So we're testing it on a live system. We started to implement the first concept, and we will now show it to you. And in the end, the CIO will decide if that's what is necessary to steer the IT organization. And I'm confident in it, and it's just all positive feedback from now. So let's see what is the solution concept of today's challenges. Here we have our organization. So we have a division head, for example, in the corporate infrastructure, having the key performance indicators and the critical success factors right on his desk, right on his dashboard, and he sees, is there an escalation I need to look at? Is there a trend I need to look into? But only if there is the necessity to take any actions, he can drill down, but he doesn't need to. So he's steering his ship only with the information that is necessary, and he's not overloaded with it. So the division dashboard shows our KPIs for every process, but also for project management, for example. In the next level, you can see how are my competency centers doing. So you're not only able to have this overview, but also can skip to who is responsible or who can I contact for this not compliant process or for these deviations. But in the end, also your service managers. So in our level, a service manager or service owner is responsible for providing a single service. But also the service manager will be able to see his data based for his service, but the calculation methods are all the same. So you have the same calculation methods at different levels. And with this solution concept, it is also possible to prove that the data are right. So let me show you two dashboards we're currently implemented into the corporate infrastructure, showing different key performance indicators. And they are currently used to have to be provided and presented in our quality management system. And they will really be used to take actions, but also to get information that is wanted. So the first one I'd like to show is, and I'm showing this not on the live system because unfortunately I cannot show detailed KPI and incident data in a demo outside of Continental. So this is dummy data. And what we're doing. We have a KPI at Continental that states reaction breaches, and we have a KPI in Continental that states resolution time breaches. A high level of percentage is actually that. So if you have reaction breaches, for example, 75%, that means that the reaction times you approved with your customer wasn't reached in 75%. And also we have a certain resolution time. This is necessary to say, okay, how long does it take until the incident is resolved? So the same way here. The higher, the better. And these measures are provided by the central process owner. You can already see some trends in the regard to historical values. But as you can imagine, if you're looking at reaction and resolution time breaches, here are the incidents not unique, because an incident could be could be moved to different competency centers, to different groups, and everyone needs again to stay in their reaction times. You can also see that we don't have a lot of critical incidents if you see the complete scope. So the drilling aspect comes into place here. If you see any trends or not fitting values for your KPIs, you can just drill into details and now see how are my competency centers performing. So in this regard, it would mean that fictionally copying from messaging and collaboration, so providing Bluetooth nodes, providing messaging programs, providing also mobile devices, has on average, so for average priority, 250 breaches for the last month and reached only 52% of its KPI. In a meeting, you would now just want to see what is the cause for this. So why was there a problem? Was there a negative trend? And by clicking on it, and you wouldn't have to do it to log in again, but by clicking on it, a new report is created just for this specific competency center. This report isn't really available on the system. It's just hiding and waiting for a specific dashboard prompt to appear. And here you are on a level where you can say, okay, the competency center head knows what KPIs to look at. In the next level, you can see, okay, we have different groups behind it, and they have various trends behind it. So you could also see that maybe there was something happening in October because you had a rising number of priority 1 incidents, but you can also see what is it based on your KPIs. So looking at trends and the reaction and resolution time reaches. So if you are in a meeting, somebody would ask you, but I don't believe it, or maybe let's dig into the details. Show me what's really behind this. And now you can click a specific group, and now the latest instance on our system is opened, which is really showing it for a specific group. So this is not really the use case, I think, for global manager meetings, but if you're talking in a quality management meeting, you would want to analyze your data, and you would want to go into details and spot out single causes. So now we're really into details. We see for different priorities, different levels of reaction and resolution times, and we have this huge report that also answers different questions like, what is if a group isn't available 24/7? Is that calculated? And you can now see that looking at the time zone, that no, they don't provide 24/7. They don't work on Saturday and Sunday. So we know obviously that the KPIs won't be measured in these time frames. And we can also see what was the set value for response and resolution times in regard to the prioritization. So if a ticket, an incident, is really critical and really a problem, it's a prior 1 incident, so maybe a whole service isn't available. They have 1 hour to respond and 1 hour to resolve it. Actually, we have different measures to make sure that if you are waiting on a customer, if you're waiting on a vendor, the resolution time won't breach. So you're only set accountable for things you actually can manage. So you can now see a list of different incidents, also if you're interested in. Now you can see every breach this specific group had. And the last level of details is really our HP Servicement employee service system. You can see here. So here you could have a look on it, see what was happening, what was the cause, and go into the last detail, but only if you're interested in. But this already allows you to provide a report for different viewer groups. So from your top-level management, only interested in trends and escalations, but also down to a service owner that wants to be sure that his groups, his products are in the right quality to be delivered to a customer. So the metrics he really accounted in the service level agreement with our customer. So back at the dashboard, you can see we came from a high-level perspective, really from a management overview down to a single incident. We also wanted to incorporate the customer view. So not only how are we repairing our cars, but also what are the cars that have the most problems. And therefore we created an additional dashboard. So in this case, you have a trend for a specific product type. I named it now Notes Mail. So again, stating that these are not the real values, it's now dummy values because of the presentation. Here you can see trends for Lotus Notes Mail, and you could also see how severe these problems were. Also, you could spot a trend for different priorities and what problems or reason codes this incident had. So you see a rising trend in priority 2, you see a rising trend in priority 3, and you also see it in absolute values. And from a management perspective, it can really see the products that we deliver, what trends do they have, and if they have a really negative trend or problems, what was the reason, the main reason for it. Also, this dashboard is used for quality management at Continental. So we really look at the values, take actions after it, and try to improve the values for every product at Continental. We also see that there is a really, really complex structure involved. So you can see that for one product we have several groups that can solve it. For one service there is several responsibilities, and you could imagine that sometimes you have a first line, so the service desk is solving incidents immediately. Sometimes you have people that don't categorize right. Sometimes the third level just moves it to another group and so on. So you have a level of complexity. But we try to improve it continuously with the Deming cycle to see could we really reach our targets like we wanted to and we had planned to, and improve this dashboarding implementation with every circle we do. So this is a cutout of our dashboarding implementations and of our reporting implementations. So the second layer was really reporting, and the third level was really a report we used productive. This is how we want to take it. So this is how we want to meet the challenges, proving your data and providing it for all your user groups in the right detail level, but also stay consistent in regard to the definition of central IT service management KPIs. So I'm already at the end of my presentation today, so I'd like to end this whole presentation with a few sentences to the current initiatives. So let's state we have now a quality management initiative at Continental, and we're providing these dashboards to our customers, and they can really see how are you doing on a global scale and how are you doing and what is the reason by it. We now see that we have the management intention because we stopped to provide reports with too less data, but also gained a lot of trust by making the system able to prove the reports you're doing. And in the end, I'm confident, together with Vesperi SMI as a product and with our complete reporting organization, that we can develop our reporting system as a steering wheel of our IT organization and services and continuously improve it. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much, and appreciate the time you come and visit it.
Okay, thank you, Alexander, for this perfect presentation. I've looked into the question box and there are no questions put in. However, I think we can take them directly from you. So if you have any questions, please, we have another 10 minutes, so take the opportunity to raise your questions. Okay, I think there are no questions at this point of time. So I'd like to make a closing remark for potential customers and partners that have customers. I'd like to point you at a promotion that we currently have exclusively for you who joined this live webinar. And the promotion is about purchasing an SMI license before January 1st. So if you're thinking about buying a license, you will be entitled to a free non-production license, which actually represents a value of $700,000 US. And the only thing you need to do to apply for this is to drop an email right after this presentation, this webinar, and drop an email to marketing@westpre-it.com, and you'll make yourself eligible for this particular offer. For now, I'd like to thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, feel free to drop us an email or post them directly to Alexander. His email address is in the last slide you're currently viewing, so don't hesitate to contact him directly. For now, thanks again for your valuable time, and hope to see you soon in another webinar. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.